Good afternoon. I think Prabhash is there, so I am going to start the lecture. So today we are going to discuss about the rest part of the extrusion technology. We have discussed some important parts in the previous lectures. Uh, so we have discussed about single screw extruders, operating diagrams, and basic designs of single screw extruders and classification. I think you can remember how to classify the single screw extruders and solid flow rate calculation. So I think we have performed the calculation. How to calculate the solid flow rate? Uh, we had a you had an example also. I think now you can calculate the solid flow rate of a particular extruder. And twin screw extruders, we have little bit discussed about the twin screw extruders. They are also available in the food industry. So today I'm going to discuss some very important parts with you about die forming. It is very important. I hope that you all can remember the parts of an extruder. There are several important parts in an extruder. The die is one of the very important parts. So I hope we have discussed about the die. And today I'm going to explain how the texture will change and what happened to the texture while moving through the die. So you know that we just mix some ingredients together and feed into the through the feeder and start the extruder. Then the ingredients will move through the barrel due to the pressure, and you know there are some forces we have discussed and some due to the shear force the raw materials will move, and the temperature is again there. So as a result of the temperature, you know, the raw material will change, the texture will change. So passing a melted stuff, we called the melted stuff, the scientific word is molten solution. So after heating raw materials, you know, as an example, you know what happened when we boil some sugar or flour, then the texture will change, and we can get a liquid solution, but it is concentrated liquid solution. We call it as molten solution hereafter. Okay, through a specifically designed die opening under a high pressure due to a pressure difference between inside and outside. Right? You know the inside of the barrel, the temperature is very high due to the the pressure is very high due to the shear force at the temperature, right? And there are some mechanisms: pressure drop, temperature changes, viscosity difference, and changes of the flow rate might occur during the die forming. You know, there are some mechanisms. And die conductance factor K is a key measurement, and the K depends on the die resistance factor. So you know how to design a die, right? It's actually a small or small space. So as a result of the resistance of this die, the pressure will generate. Therefore, die resistance factor is very important. If we use a die with a hole, you know, the die opening, if we increase the die hole, then the die resistance factor will decrease. If we decrease the size, then the die resistance factor will increase, right? The die conductance factor is also one of the key measurements in selecting dies for a particular product. Right? Die texture also very important. You know, it is important to get a smooth die with a smooth texture to get a high quality product, right? Basically, we use Teflon like hard materials in producing dies for extruders. So you know, the always we have to use recommended food grade materials in developing machines and equipment. So the die is also we are going to move food items. We are going to move the molten solution through the die. So the food items directly interact with the surface. So therefore, it is very important to use food grade materials and hard materials because the temperature is very high, the pressure is very high. So therefore, it is very important to use a particular materials with high resistance, and the smooth surface also very important, right? And I think we have discussed some examples. A very popular example is TPT. So it's actually a expanded food product. We use some raw materials, then at the end of the process, we can get expanded food products. And basically, there are several types of food products, but expanded food products are very popular. And what are the reasons for expansion? Temperature and moisture. So if we are going to develop expanded food products, so it is necessary to use high temperature and low moisture, right? And it is consequences of several factors such as biopolymer structural transformation and phase transitions. Phase transition means liquid state to solid state and solid to liquid likewise. And nucleation, we will discuss what is nucleation. Extruded swelling, you know what is swelling means expansion. Bubble growth, it is also we are going to discuss today. Bubble collapse and bubble dynamics, right? Those words are very important in when it comes to expanded food products, extruded food products. We will discuss these words and the techniques behind these words, right? Here you can see a diagram. X-axis, you can see moisture content. Y-axis, again, temperature, right? And Tg and Tm means two temperature ranges. Tm means melting temperature and Tg means temperature at glassy state, right? You know, in most of the extruded food products, we use flour and starch, maybe wheat flour, rice flour, cornstarch like materials basically we use because it will facilitate to get the proper texture, and the cost is also reasonable. You know, the flour, wheat flour, it is around somewhat around 150 or 100 range, and starch little bit high in cost. And meat-based products are again available, but we are going to discuss about flour and starch-based food products. Here we start the process raw materials, and when we increase the temperature, you can see throughout the extruder what happened, and the temperature will increase. Then glass stage temperature, you can see the barriers are there, Tg is there. Then with the extrusion, with the time, then what happened? Temperature will increase, right? Temperature will increase. So with the temperature, high temperature, starch turns from glassy state to highly elastic state, right? You have this experience when we heat some starch or flour, the texture will change from glassy state to elastic state. If it is elastic state, you can imagine the texture. It's somewhat elastic. The product it is there are some elastic properties. It means you know what is the meaning of elastic. The texture will change. Then to melted state, Tm. When we pass the Tm range, automatically what happened to the molten solution? Then raw metals are there. Then when we increase the temperature, Tg after passing the Tg, then Tm is there. Tm means melting temperature. As a result of the melting temperature, when we increase the temperature than the Tm, then you can get the molten solution. Now the phase changes are there from solid state to liquid state. Then liquid is there, right? After leaving the dye, now still we are in the inside the batter, but now we are going to move through the dye, right? You know, you can imagine what happened to the temperature and pressure inside the barrel. The temperature is very high, and the inside the dye also temperature very high. Sorry, pressure and temperature both they are very high. After leaving the dye, then what happened? After leaving the dye, then the pressure is it's somewhat around the environmental pressure, right? Normal pressure available in our environment, right? Normal gas pressure, atmospheric pressure. Then you can imagine the difference in between inside and outside. Then Husky pressure drop is there. When the molten solution move through the dye, then pressure will drastically decrease. Drastically decrease. It means quickly decrease. Then what happened? You know the inside temperature pressure high, outside pressure is very low. So as a result of this pressure deviation, then the water molecules available in the product will the water molecules may remove as steam. You know the temperature is somewhat around 100 or above 100, and water is there as the liquid. As a result of this pressure change, then what happened? Water molecules absorb energy, and remove as steam. Right? You can imagine. Then what happened? We have discussed that water molecules absorb the energy in this product. As a result of that, energy may decrease. Energy decrease means temperature again decrease, right? Now you can see what happened here. From here to here, temperature is decreasing, and moisture loss is there. Moisture will evaporate as steam. Then further cooling, right? Here you can see. As a result of moisture loss, temperature decreases and the extrudate turns back to the highly elastic state, right? Then again, the texture, you can see highly elastic stage because the temperature has been decreased. And thereafter to amorphous state. Amorphous state. I will show you some pictures later. Now you can see initially glass state is there, then change into highly elastic state. Then when we increase the temperature, melting with the melted state, third one, and then expansion is there after moving through the dye, then it will the water molecules absorb energy and evaporate as steam. Then what happens? The temperature of the product may decrease. As a result of that, then the texture again turns back into the highly elastic state. And amorphous state. What is the meaning of amorphous state? Maybe a porous texture. You can see in breads, right? Breads, inside the bread, you can see this texture. Because the water molecules are not there now. The water moisture content is very low. So therefore, you can see that you can get the amorphous texture. Just imagine about a tippy tip. You can see the texture, amorphous texture inside the tippy tip, right? However, when the extruder temperature decreases until Tg, now you can see it again moving through TG, then expansion stops and the structure of the extrudate stabilizes to get the proper shape, right? This circle is very important here. When we increase the temperature, first one is glassy temperature, then it will convert into a glassy state. Then with high temperature, raw materials they will absorb more energy and convert it into liquid state as a result of melting. Then after passing through the die, then the molten solution moving through the die, you know the pressure difference is there. Then at the end of the die, the pressure decrease. As a result of the pressure deviation, water molecules absorb energy and evaporate as steam. Then you know low energy is there. It means low temperature is there. Then the texture again change. And finally, you can get the texture with amorphous state, and the structure of the extrudate stabilize here, right? Here. It is very important to understand the circle and the temperature, everything. What is happening when we increase the temperature and pressure. So you can see the temperature, the initial temperature and the temperature of the final product. Again, there is a deviation. So we have to reduce the temperature again to prevent the texture changes further, right? I think it's understood. This is actually the row 1, and you can see the texture changes at amorphous stage, glassy transitions, and crystalline stage, right? There are deviations, texture changes. And raw material textures you can see in the feeding tank, textures, 2 raw materials are there. But when we increase the temperature, you can see what happened. With the high temperature, you can see strong intermolecular interactions will be formed. And as a result of that, totally different texture, totally different product can be obtained at the end of this process, right? It is very important to understand, right? I think, hope you it's very clear to you. Right. Then you know the structure of this extruder. What are the parts? You have already understood this thing. So feeding tank is there, feeders there. Then here you can see the die and rotary knife. It is actually an extra part, right? Extra part. If it is an extruder, you know what are the basic parts are there. Then rotary knife, we can fix a rotary knife at the end of this process, right? Rotary knife can also be seen as lengthwise arrangement of the extruder. It is a lengthwise arrangement. It means right? Rotary knife means you can see here what is the rotary knife. It is a moving knife. Then in this place you can see the die. So products are coming out here. Then by using this knife, easily we can get the product. Speed of the rotary knife cutter can be controlled based on the expected product shape. If it is might be a pasta, might be noodles and spaghetti. So you know the textures are different, sizes, lengths, everything are different. So you can get the same product through this hole or die. Then alter the rotation speed, RPM. Then you can get, you know, when we decrease the temperature, decrease the rotation speed, then you can get the product with little bit higher length. Then when we increase the rotation speed, you can get the product with low length. And finally, particular shapes of the extruded can be obtained, such as balls, rings, stars, letters of the alphabet, and so on. You can determine the shapes you need, and what you have to do is change the die and the cutters, right? Cutter speed and the cutter shape, everything you can determine. The basic process is extrusion, right? Pressure difference is there, right? And there are some external product. You can see cooling fans. As we discussed here, the temperature is little higher than the initial temperature. Right? The initial temperature, you can see the room temperature here, but at the end of the product, the end product, the temperature is a little bit higher. Then we can use such cooling fans, and if we need temperature further, so then we can use this type of gadgets. Right? Thereafter, drying of the extruded to reduce the moisture content up to 6 to 8%. So, the texture of tip-like product, pasta-like products, the moisture content is somewhat around 6 to 8. It means a dry product. Drying can be performed with a simple rotation drums. You can see drum dryers with electric heaters or gas heaters. And it is possible to use hot air dryers. Temperature is just about 100, right? In this extruder, you can see the extrusion process and fan. How to install the fan here? Then we can remove the water moisture further, and this is actually an equipment for paddy drying. Wet paddy here, then it is moving from here to here. Then moisture will remove at this end, and you can get dried pad. And we can install this type of dryers and heaters as lengthwise arrangements to the existing extruder to get different products, right? But basically the moisture percentage of the final product is somewhat around 6 to 8, right? In large installations, belt dryers can be used. Belt dryers. You can see in an industrial level, there are big extruders. Somewhat large extruders are there. So to increase the efficiency, we can use belt dryers, heated by gas-fired heat exchangers or steam, where the air circulating through the unit section. The process is similar. If you can fix such dryers, if not, at the end of the extruder, you can collect the final products, and then there is a conveyor, right? There is a conveyor, and from both sides of this conveyor, they have fixed fans, fixed coolers, or you can, if you need more temperature, then you can fix heaters, right? It is based on your product and your capacity and the requirement. Cooling takes place at ambient temperature of 15 to 20 degrees, where the air flows through the performed belt on the dryer. Then you can install this type of fans to cool the product. Very often in drum dryers, our flavor and vitamin coating step is integrated. So after the process, right, we just use, suppose that we have used wheat flour, salt, and water. Then at the end of the process, we can get a different shape products, but salt taste is there. But if we need to add more flavors or nutritional value, then what we have to do is we can add more flavors and vitamin like nutrients. For that, we can use drum dryers, and fryers also can be used separately to the extruder, right? And die forming, you can see the pictures inside the die. This is the nucleation is happening here, then expansion. What is the reason for expansion? Water molecules absorb energy as temperature and remove as water vapor or steam. As a result of that, the temperature will decrease and move to the turns back to the glassy state, and the texture stabilized texture can be obtained. And in this example, you can see the extruded products, peanuts, like extruded products, right? And I think it's very clear how to develop extruded food products. Here also you can see, this is actually a very good picture. You can get, you can use this as a short note. In this picture, you can easily understand and study what I explained. Here you can see the die and what happened to the particle size, right? As we discussed, the particle size is being increased, right? It's been increased due to the pressure change, right? And in this equation, by using this equation, you can calculate the shear rate and die radius. These are the die radius and the feed rate. They are actually constant for a particular processing line. You can calculate shear rate. So please practice this equation by using different values, right? I'm not going to give you examples because it is very easy. It is very easy equation. So what I just wanted to explain here is what are the functions are performing, functions are occurring and happening through this die forming reaction. So it is better to study the texture changes here. From here to here, you can see what happened to the texture and steam evaporation, right? At this end, the water molecules will get evaporated, right? I'm going to summarize the things I have discussed up to now. So you know the materials, we will discuss the raw material selections later. In the next lecture, we will discuss how to select raw materials. And raw materials are very important. Composition of the raw materials, molecular structures, right? Interactions, they are very important in extrusion. Then operational parameters, you know what are the operational parameters? The temperature, time, and screw speed, pressure, right? Die shape, die opening, die radius, barrel temperature. Likewise, there are so many parameters are available to maintain. And time temperature combination is very important, and shear force is also very important. Then gelatinization, dextrinization, like denaturation, like things are happening inside the barrel as a result of high temperature and high shear force, right? Then we have discussed about rheological properties and what is happening with the time and shear rate, right? We have discussed the general things about the what is happening, how to change the texture, everything we have discussed, and also the moisture changes we have discussed. And bubble growth here in this previous slide, you can see how to grow bubbles, right? And collapse, some collapse are there as a result of water removal. So as a result of that, you can get amorphous food products, amorphous texture, and final expansion, right? These are things happening in the extruders, in food extruders. So each and every steps are very important to understand. Then dextrinization, you can read what is dextrinization. It is actual dextrinization means a type of browning, and we call it as a non-enzymatic browning. There are two steps in dextrinization. Initially, the polymers will denature. The polymers may change. We call it as low conversion. It means when it comes to starch or flour, polymers are there. Then when we increase the temperature, those polymers may degrade, right? As and the small and different shape chains you can get. There are polymers, carbohydrates. The starch and flour belongs to carbohydrates. So there are carbon and hydrogen bonds and polymers. When we increase the temperature, polymers may degrade, bonds will break, and different sizes of small polymers you can identify. We call it as low conversion. When we increase the temperature further, then what is happened? The polymers will restructure. But it is happening in a branch manner. Now you can get branch structure, right? We call it as repolymerization, and as a result of that, the texture will totally change. Initially, as a result of that, as an example, just imagine we can get 100 grams of wheat flour. 100 grams of wheat flour, then we are going to increase the temperature, mix with water and increase the temperature. Then you can imagine the textural changes. Initially depolymerization, then repolymerization is there. At the end of the process, the texture changes are there. We can get a product, with different characteristics. Right? We call it as dextrinization. It is a type of non-enzymatic browning. So color changes are there. So as we discussed, the temperature and shear force is there inside the extruder barrel. So as a result of that, dextrination can also be happen. And pressure development is very important. I hope that you all know the pressure differences inside the extruder. In the feeding tank, temperature is almost similar to the environmental temperature. Then now we are moving from feeder to the extruder. Then the feeding zone, the temperature is somewhat higher than the feeding tank. Then moving continuously, cooking zone is there with high temperature and pressure. Now the pressure is high. At the end of the barrel, you can see forming zone and dye zone. So pressure is very high. So it is actually very easy to understand. Feeding zone, mixing or cooking zone and forming zone, 3 zones are there. The temperature, how to change. And I think we have discussed there are different types of extruder barrels and screws are available. So when I hope that we have discussed how to change the pressure by using the flight height and those things. So there are different factors are available. We can control to alter the temperature. Extruder designs, door characteristics. When we the amount of water with high water and low water, the pressure will change. And extruder operational conditions, as we discussed, that the rotation speed, like these things, flight heights, expected product shape and characteristics. Based on these things, we are going to change the extruder pressure. Then pressure gradient, you can calculate the pressure gradient by using this equation. It is actually based on number of screw flights, degree of intermeshing, gaps between screws, and likewise there are viscosity of the dough, flight height, screw diameter. You can see, you can identify the factors which affect for pressure gradient. Screw flight, helix angle. You know all these words now, right? Distance travel, everything you know. So you can practice this equation by using your own examples, right? You will have some equations and you have to design some extruders in your exams. So please study these things by using your examples. Then how to select an extruder? I hope that you have very good knowledge now, right? Now you know what is extrusion, how it is the operational conditions, how it is working, everything you know, and what is die forming, everything you know, and some calculations, and you can imagine and think and determine uh, the conditions of the extruder. Then before selecting extruder, we have studied, we have discussed, there are different types of products, how to control the length and texture and moisture content, everything we have discussed. There are so many things to be discussed. And now I think you all can determine, you all can develop, you all can select your own extruder for any industry, for your company. So now how to select a food extruder? Then first of all, scope of the food manufacturing process is important. What type of product or products are we going to develop? Okay? There are different types of extruders we have discussed with high temperature, high shear, everything. So first of all, it is important to define the scope of the product or products. Type of the raw materials we are going to use as we discussed. So as an example, chocolate. If it is a chocolate based product, we need to get a feeding tank with agitation and thermal heating facilities to maintain the texture. Likewise, based on our raw materials, the extruders are different. Expected outcomes and target market, right? Then functions, so unit operations. We have discussed there are so many unit operations inside the extruder. So what types of unit operations we need? Sometimes the cooking part is essential, right? Just imagine our product is a ready to cook one. Then our product is a ready to cook one. So it means such as an example, soya meat. So then you are going to develop ready to cook food products by using check seeds available in your home. And then the final product, again, it is we need to provide some temperature to cook it, right? Therefore, cooking step is not important. And again, imagine on a tip, it is ready to cook one. So we have to increase the temperature and cook it, right? So unit operations are very important. And other factors to be considered, initial cost. So it is the extruders are somewhat expensive. So the initial cost is high and energy requirements are there. In some extruders, we are going to use 3-phase motors, and you can use in an industrial level, it is important to use 3-phase motors. If not, we can use single-phase motors. So energy efficiency and availability of electricity and the production cost and the space we have. So we have a room with 10 by 20 square. So the square feet are 200. So we have to get the extruder with relevant dimensions. If not, what is happening? It is difficult to install your extruder, right, in your place. So all these things should be considered, and the raw materials and the cost, everything shall be considered before purchasing a extruder. So there are 3 major factors: scope of the product, unit operation functions required, and other important factors, right? And there are customized extruders are available. Then you have to customize the flight heights and number of flights we need, right? It is important to get a particular extruder, multi-purpose extruder. Then what you have to do is change the die and change the shaft, change the flight heights. So basically now initially the company is going to develop somewhat of pasta. Then they are going to move for the next 5 years. They are going to develop spaghetti-like products. So the scope is important. Before purchase the extruder, it is important to determine the scope and then select the extruder. And and if we can get extruder with customization options with different shaft, different dies, it is very important. And cutters and some other extra part also there as we discussed today, dryers and cooling fans and conveyors we can use. So before purchasing, before make that decision, it is important to study the next 5 or 10 year plans and a scope. If not, it is difficult to improve your extruder, right? Here you can see some factors before selecting an extruder diameters, output and screw speed, the range is there, length and diameter ratio, energy consumption, and high viscous product. For high viscous product, short extruders, high energy extruders, large in size, motor size and screw pitch, channel depth, flight. This is just an example. So there are so many factors, right? If extruders, how to select extruders, then here also you can see the diagram. I have obtained this diagram from a book. So it is very important to identify and study these parameters, right, before purchasing. You can see mechanical energy input. Likewise, there are several characteristics which are important in the extrusion. So before make the decision, you need to study the process. So I hope those things are clear. So please practice these equations yourself. So any question? The next week we are going to discuss about the materials. Next week we will be discussing on the raw material selection, how to use raw materials for extruded food product development, right? Okay, hope you don't have questions. So today we have around 5 people. So I suppose that others can understand the things no matter. So thank you very much for your participation, and I will share the video. Thank you very much.